Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to a soon-to-be world-famous podcast powered by the More of the Same network in association with Anti-USW Productions, known now notoriously as the Yin and The Yang. I am the Yin, former two-time USW heavyweight champion and lifelong martial artist, and I am the Anthony Chu that the people speak of. And man, I am amped today because I promised a power-packed episode, and damn it, we're going to fucking give you one. So on today's episode, I spent an absolute 1 year, one night in Maryland. We're also going to talk about the results of UFC 214. So there is finally justice in this world in more ways than one. Get your video game controllers ready, kids, because we're going to talk martial arts and video gaming. And folks, we've picked 5 of the best, but only I have 5 of the shittiest games. And it's back, ladies and gentlemen. A big thumbs up and a new victim of Chewed Out. We're going to answer fan mail. And yes, we'll give you an update about someone's progress this week. And so will I give you my progress of my own goals. And in our nutritional segment, we teach you how to read food labels, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if that's not enough for you, if you haven't noticed yet, I threw around the word we a lot in this intro. So to help complete the yin and the yang, allow me to introduce the other half. And no, don't get it twisted like the kids say nowadays. He's not the better half. But let's give him a proper introduction anyway, shall we? Yes, the music is back, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? He is the shit talker, Skywalker, video game retro stalker, Hudson Hawker, made out with a hot Greek woman, but his videos were never published in Gawker. Ladies and, well, stiff upper lip. Ladies, just for you, he is the owner, master, operator, and pioneer of the More of the Same network, the Yang of the show. Larry, I am not on the news as a Hollywood sexual harasser Mormon.
No, I'm not on the news, not yet. What's going on, people? What's going on, everyone? Hello, More of the Same universe. Anthony, how you been, my friend?
Man, I have had a crazy, massive, insane weekend, and we're going to definitely talk about that. But before we do, you notice that in the introduction I said Hudson Hawker.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. No, I've not seen that movie. In fact,
you've never seen the movie Hudson Hawk?
Me and my friend, me to my friends, one of their mothers brought us to see Hudson Hawk, but for some reason we ended up watching What About Bob? I don't know why.
Good movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. What About Bob? It's fantastic. Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. Great movie.
Those two are funny as hell,
But
man.
I never actually saw Hudson Hawk, but Hudson Hawk was such a huge flop.
There was this one, well, it had like star power. It had like James Coburn.
It had Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. I mean, I don't understand why it was a flop, but, the one fight scene that stands out in that entire thing was there was a guy who was fighting Bruce Willis who had 2 blades. They look like mini machetes, and just the way that Bruce Willis's character kills this guy is just, it's funny, but yet it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just rhymed with everything. So it just so happened that when I was writing the introduction, I was flipping through the channels, and all of a sudden that movie came on the IFC channel. So I'm like, oh shit, pretty awesome,
That's wild.
Yeah, man, you had a good weekend or what?
Yeah. What did I do this weekend? What? Oh my gosh, because I was it was my parents' anniversary. It was their 40th wedding anniversary. So we celebrated.
Butch, Beth, happy anniversary.
Yeah, big 4-0. Otherwise, that was pretty much about it. Just kind of chilled at my parents' this weekend. We watched, actually me and my dad watched a couple of documentaries. Kind of nothing to do on a Saturday night, so we watched something about the USS Atlanta. And we watched something else, another movie from the 40s, the late 40s, right around, World War II. So not late 40s, probably mid 40s. Called Thunderbolt, I want to say it was called.
Okay.
It was about some gunmen, airships, stuff like that. So it was pretty cool.
For those of you guys who don't know, amongst the Yin and Yang show and the More of the Same network, Larry's dad is actually a Vietnam veteran. Yep. So we're very, very proud of the fact that he, pretty much risked his life over there. And we're proud of all the people who serve in the military. I mean, it's much due respect. This is an elite group of men and women who do what they do. So we salute you here at the Yin and the Yang for sure.
We do, and we got veterans.
Much respect and love to you guys.
And Veterans Day is coming up this weekend. Remember, Veterans Day is the day to thank all those men and women who have served. A lot of people get Veterans Day confused with Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for those who have given their all for the freedoms that we have. But Veterans Day is for those currently serving who have served. Go up, thank them. Thank them for the service, welcome them home. And it's a good thing. Yeah, it's an elite group. It's a tough group to be a part of, but it's an elite group. So, and I mean that in a good way. It's a tough group to be a part of. Don't get me wrong.
Doesn't matter what branch you serve. We're all proud of you here at the network. Our boys in the back, our technical team. We really, really thank you for your service out there. So, you ready to do this or what? Ready to do the show?
I'm ready, brother. We had that episode last week from Chiller, so we're ready to rev this up, kick it into high gear. We're going to rock and roll, strut and stroll, slam and jam, and we're ready to rock it.
All right, so now that we're fueled up, we're amped up, I got my coffee right here. So let me just say this. I want to give a little ode, a little salute to you, the viewers, the listeners, the people who download their podcast. Not you, damn it. We'll talk about that later. So, after 7 episodes, you've instigated an interpromotional podcasting war. Should we really give you any ode at all?
Look, I'm trying to move on from that. So continue on with who you're getting ready to thank.
Damn it. Anyway, so I just want to thank every single person out there, and I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to give you guys some stats as to the last seven episodes. Listen to this. On Spreaker, okay, episode 1 had, and these are real stats. This is not BS. I'm not making any of this up. This is as genuine as it gets, folks. So on Spreaker, you can check us out there. On episode 1, we got 38 plays, very reasonable, 6 downloads. Episode 2, 31 plays, 8 downloads. Episode 3, 39 plays, 7 downloads. Episode 4, we got 41 plays, but no downloads. People were probably drunk that week or something. Then it kicked it into high gear because episode 5, we had 76 plays and 5 downloads. That was episode 5. Episode 6, we had 113 plays and no downloads. Which I don't know what the hell happened.
There's no need downloads. Right? It's all right as long as we're getting those plays.
And episode 7, we got 96 plays and no downloads. Now, meanwhile, right over here on YouTube, we have episode number 1 had 29 views. Episode 2 had 26. Episode 3 had 36. Episode 4, this is where we really kick into high gear, had 32, little bit of a drop, but then out of nowhere, episode 5 gets 67 views.
I saw that.
Episode 6 got 111 views. And episode 7 got 118 views.
I don't get it because I think you just have your computer on loop.
No, Hey, do not disrespect Choose Commandos and Mormons militants. These folks have given us their time to download our show, to listen, play, and however they get their podcast, they give us their time. So for them to listen to what we have to say, and we do this for the people, this is a podcast, not just for me, it's not just for you, it's for the people, all right? It's for everybody. And for the fact that you guys have really, really given us the love and support. We have emails piling up. We have Facebook likes. On our Facebook page now, we've had over 60 likes and follows.
Yeah, we're doing
good. To all the fans out there, we really, really want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We enjoy what we do. We have passion for it. And I think that when you have passion for it, it changes everything, man. And even if we got paid 6 figures a year, even 5 figures, Podcast One, hire us. All right.
Podcast One? Oh, the Jericho Network. Yes. One.
Yeah, exactly.
I will sell lock, stock, and barrel, more of the same, to the Jericho Network.
We're going to get into Jericho in a little while because I know God. But before we do, guys, thank you so much.
Yes, truly.
We really appreciate your love and support, man.
So,
thank you, Arsenio. Now, as we go through this, I'm just going to say that before we get into one of the topics you want to talk about, Larry, I want to talk about something that I read that was really interesting. We gave you a list at one point of 15 restaurants that were kind of going down the drain or expected to be obsolete within the next 10 years. And I think we did that in episode 4 or 5. So I unearthed a list according to a health magazine here that is online. It's a list of 5 healthy restaurants to dine in, if you can imagine this. Okay? All right, so here are the 5, and I'm just going to put this out there. And this is no particular order, by the way. So sometimes, guys and gals out there, you don't have the time to always make your own food. Sometimes you're on the go. Things do change. Life happens. Shit happens. And sometimes you're out there and you don't have your food. I mean, I've dealt with that plenty of times. So when you're out there and you need to go eat, but you also don't want to fat ass it up, here are 5 very interesting options here. So the first one that is written is something called Zoe's Kitchen.
Ooh, that sounds local. Have you ever eaten it? No, I never even heard of it.
Okay, it is a chain that's mainly East Coast. I have one in New Jersey now, and let me tell you, it's Greek Mediterranean food, and it's pretty damn good. I can't lie to you. It's pretty awesome. They have things like hummus. They have chicken. They have lamb. They don't serve beef. They serve lamb sandwiches. Okay. A lot of salads, a lot of good, healthy options. Mm-hmm. I do find that some of their sandwiches, though, are a bit salty, so I don't really eat them. But I definitely go with the salads. That's really good. They have hummus. They have couscous. They have a lot of really good options. They got a good salmon fillet sandwich, which is unbelievable. That's really good. Oh, yeah. They have a huge expanded, very, very expanded. They didn't list, though, a specific, I guess you can say, dish or particular meal that they found to be the healthiest, which is rather interesting because it brings me to the next one. It's called Cava Grill, C-A-V-A Grill. Okay. And this is, I've eaten it there as well because I went with my brother and his family. And it's more of a DC thing around that area, what they call the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Cava Grill is, once again, Mediterranean. Isn't this trying to tell you something here, that Mediterranean food is actually a good option?
I guess so.
Yeah, absolutely. According to the report here, Cava Grill, one of the best things you can get is the grilled chicken with a feta salad and pita chips, or it dipped in hummus, which sounds pretty damn good.
I've been on a hummus kick lately.
Hummus is really good. If you want to eat something that's really, really good with hummus, baby carrots are good. Yep. Now, I use hummus more as a dip than anything else.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I just started eating it, so I still find it a little weird, but
it's an excellent snack. Really, really good. Or if you can find a healthy chip or something like that, like Trader Joe's. If you can find a really healthy chip, like Trader Joe's sells this quinoa black bean tortilla chip.
Quinoa. We're going to get into quinoa in a moment, but I love quinoa.
Absolutely. The third on this list, and I'm very surprised, is Chick-fil-A.
Their food's legit.
Now, listen to this.
Okay.
The healthiest – first of all, come on, folks. If you're going to go to Chick-fil-A, You can't tell me you don't want a crispy chicken sandwich with all the works and waffle fries, right? Okay, but if you can really resist and not have that fried shit, they say that Chick-fil-A is good for one particular meal, which I find very interesting, is a large kale salad. All right, they have this healthy superfood salad, they call it. And if you eat 3 to 5 nuggets, grilled chicken nuggets with that, it is under 500 calories.
Yeah.
Which
that sounds really good. I mean, I'm not a fan of kale, but that's good stuff, man.
Kale is good if done correctly, and if they say minimal dressing, by the way.
I mean, I would give a shot. Like, I would try kale chips. I've seen that happen.
Kale chips are pretty good. They're not bad. I mean, I have a coworker who eats a bag of that shit every day.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole cohort's a good dude, you know, and he's very healthy. So I look at him and I'm like, if he's doing it, I'm fucking doing it.
There you go, brother.
You know?
Yep.
The second on this list, Chipotle.
Yeah, they got, again, all their food's legit.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to what is healthy at Chipotle is to have a bowl of either chicken, beef, or mix, no rice, and fit every vegetable possible that you can put in there, along with guacamole, if you really do want the extra healthy fats. But they say if you could do without the guacamole, it's around, again, 500 calories, which is not bad at all.
Yeah.
And the number one, at least, then again, this list was in no particular order, but you know, when we count something down, folks, here on the show, we count from 5 to 1. So to us, the number one is Panera Bread.
Okay, I hear you talk a lot about Panera Bread.
Panera Bread, if you eat their salads, is excellent as long as you tell them to have light dressing on it. Mm-hmm. You can't go wrong with their food. Even their chips are not exactly all that bad for you because it doesn't have crap. Mm-hmm. It's just basically potatoes, a little bit of sea salt, and they do it in oil. So, I mean, I'm sure it's pre-packaged or made. You could also go with the apple or whatnot. The healthy options is any half a salad and half a sandwich or a whole salad. The arugula salad there is supposed to be one of the best. And that comes with chicken, with grilled chicken. Now, there is one thing I do have to say to you guys about Panera Bread. This is just me personally. If you have the self-discipline, which I do, to get through the fucking aisle of bread death, because, oh my God, it's unbelievably good. Number one, from the second you walk in there to the way it smells, to the way it looks. It's just like, how can you go in there? And then the fucking people, they entice you behind the counter. Hey, I see you're ordering healthy. I literally had one cashier say to me, would you like to have anything from the bakery for 99 cents? Anything of your choosing? It's like, you son of a bitch. I am trying to eat healthy here, jackass. And then you're going to offer me something from the bread section. Great, thanks. That really brings up the company's positive reputation for eating healthy. Dumbass. Right?
Fair enough.
Yep, exactly. So, man, I mean, you know, those are the 5 right there. They don't give an honorable mention, which is something I find very, very interesting. But, hey, guys, if you're traveling out and gals, if you're traveling out on the road, there are your 5 healthy options right there. Nice. So don't ever say that we don't teach you shit here. You know, we definitely do. Who says you don't learn shit here at the Yin and the Yang? Of course you do.
Absolutely not, brother.
All right. So, bro, I really don't want to do this segment, but out of respect for you, we'll talk about it. I'm really not a fan of talking about this guy or giving him airtime, but this is something you want to talk about, and I'm going to give you my take on it. So go ahead, set up the backstory, say what you got to say, and I'll do the rebuttal.
Oh my gosh. Listen to you. This show is the Yin and the Yang. Remember, one does not exist without the other. So we will have back and forth.
Yeah, you're amped, and I'm not about this topic.
What?
That's what the yin and yang is right there. You want to talk about theory of opposites? There you go.
All right. Well, we talk wrestling, right? Am I correct on that?
A little bit of wrestling, yeah.
Okay. I'm a huge wrestling fan, big wrestling fan. In fact, I got my tickets for I've ordered the travel package for WrestleMania, so I'll be representing the More of the Same network in New Orleans, Louisiana, Sunday night, April 8th, live from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It is WrestleMania.
Oh, and by the way, folks, little did the network even try to make any conserved effort to get me a ticket or any travel package accompanied in courtesy of the network. I just wanted to point that out to you.
The secret backer, the silent majority of the More of the Same network will be traveling with me, so it's okay.
It's Ted DiBiase.
Well, hey, his movie's out tomorrow. The Price of Fame.
Yeah, I heard. I
gotta check that out. I may get a ticket at the last minute. So,
my benefactor.
Oh man, remember when Sweet Sapphire took the money?
Oh God.
Oh, that was terrible. That was so heartbreaking. So so what happens is, for those wrestling fans, independent wrestling, and really, actually, not even independent wrestling. Anything other than WWE has been blowing up in the last year and a half. I mean, Ring of Honor is getting hot. A lot of the independent scenes are getting hot. Japan is getting hot here in the U.S. Especially a group called New Japan Pro Wrestling, and a lot of groups are doing it. Impact now has their own network, their own internet network, and New Japan has their own network, kind of like the WWE network. So that gives now the Western audience, the American audience, a chance to watch live Japanese wrestling, New Japan, and Kevin Kelly and Don Callis actually does the English commentary for them. And New Japan's biggest show of the year is called Wrestle Kingdom.
That's like their WrestleMania.
It is. It's their WrestleMania. The only thing that annoys me that is it's January 4th every year, no matter what day of the week it falls on.
Why does that annoy you?
Because people have work the next day. Well, they do that on a Sunday as well, but still, it's like, I don't know, it's just have it on a Sunday. But anyway, so Wrestle Kingdom 12, it has just been announced that possibly the arguably the leader of the Bullet Club, the cleaner, Kenny Omega, is going one-on-one with the greatest of all time, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, Chris Jericho. They're going one-on-one at Wrestle Kingdom 12, and I'm being dead serious when I say I am looking into airfare to get to Tokyo.
Is there any way that when we finish this podcast, is there any way that you could tell your technical team to actually edit out Kenny's last name? Because I really don't want to give this guy any airtime whatsoever. I'm not a fan of his, and I'm. Let me give you my take on something, okay?
Okay.
And I know you're amped. I'm a huge Jericho fan. I love Chris Jericho. I've met him before.
And let me say, Hulk Hogan's my number one. Jericho's my number 1A. Jericho is one of my favorite he's next to Hulk Hogan in my book.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, Jericho is one of the greatest of all time. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But here is what the problem is. The problem is he's working with Kenny. I'm not going to say his fucking last name because I don't like him. And I'm going to give you a theory, folks, okay? And call me old, call me out of date, call me out of touch with things, whatever. I don't care because, quite frankly, if you don't listen to my show and you don't respect my opinion or you don't think that I should have an opinion, fuck you. I don't need you, and you probably don't listen to this show anyway, all right, for anybody out there. And this network doesn't give a shit what you think either. Maybe Larry does. I'm not really sure. Here's my problem with Kenny Omega, all right? And yeah, I did say his last name. Fucking idiots like the Young Bucks, Joey Ryan, is that, folks, it's called video game wrestling, okay? This is video arcade wrestling. And the reality of it is that people like the people I just mentioned to you, between Omega, Joey Ryan, and the Bucks, idiots like this in the indie circuit is what's really destroying the traditional aspect of pro wrestling. These fucking morons, they come in, they probably won't get any farther than the indies themselves. They'll never be signed to a major organization. And when Ryan was signed to TNA or Impact, it wasn't considered a major organization to begin with there because of their financial woes and blah, blah, blah. But they were the only company that was closest to getting anywhere near competing with the WWE in the last, 15 to 18 years. Here's my problem with these guys. If you look at any of their matches, first of all, let me just state something to everybody out there who knows anything about this guy, Omega. He's wrestled a fucking 9-year-old girl and lost to a 9-year-old girl. He's wrestled a fucking blow-up doll, all right? The Young Bucks, as good as they are, they fucking double super kicked a little kid for their birthday, all right?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Joey Ryan does something called the dickplex. Do you know what the dickplex is, folks? It's when you grab onto his dick during a match and he supposedly somehow fucking flips you over with his dick.
It's the most... Listen, Joey Ryan is still living the kayfabe. He's protecting his finisher.
So it's stupid shit like this.
And it's the YouPornplex.
No, it's stupid shit like this. When people do stupid shit like this and they break out into fucking dance routines, or they fucking have 8 guys on a 4-on-4 match sell a fucking invisible hand grenade, all right? Or it is the dumbest fucking shit. It makes me ashamed to say that I've been a professional wrestling fan. And when you have people who look at this who aren't wrestling fans, they basically look at matches like this and it becomes a disgrace. No wonder nobody takes professional wrestling seriously. We are the only country in the world where we do not take professional wrestling seriously on a mainstream level. You look at Japan, you look at Mexico, you look at England, you look at all these other countries, even fucking Nigeria, all right? Even they take their wrestling seriously. You look at people in Greece, people across the EU. All these countries take their wrestling seriously except for us. It is considered a flippy-doo, wackadoo, fucking funny, comical act, and these guys are the ones who are fueling this bullshit. And it's fucking idiots like this that really, look, if someone has never seen a pro wrestling match in their life and they see this comical bullshit, they're going to really think that this is just whacked out. And it gives a negative image to the fans, to the wrestlers. There's a reason why Omega and all these other guys can't make it to the mainstream. I would love to see Omega do this to a guy like the late, great Killer Kowalski. I would love to see Joey Ryan go up to like fucking Scott Steiner and say, hey, would you take a dickplex for me? All right.
Mick Foley did.
And Mick Foley's a fucking idiot for doing that.
What?
I love Mick Foley. He's a legend. I love the man. I've met him personally. He's as a fan, he's a pretty awesome dude. He even showed up during Mikey's school when I was there. He's a great guy, all right? But why? Why would you do that to yourself? It tarnishes your image.
It does not. No, it doesn't. First of all, Joey Ryan's YouPornplex, Kenny Omega wrestling the 9-year-old and wrestling the blow-up doll, and the Young Bucks, all of that started in Japan.
Well, they're fucking nuts to begin with over there. But that's a very silent minority over there.
Kenny Omega is making more money now than he would in the WWE. Same with the Young Bucks.
Because the yen itself, the yen is basically a lot more than the American dollar.
I'm not talking like that. I'm talking about when the Young Bucks, I think they have more of, in the U.S., they have an exclusive contract with Ring of Honor, and they're still allowed to wrestle at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. But I mean, it's not like the entire show that they've wrestled on is like this. You have to have your, what they call ha-ha moments. And yes, the Kenny Omega with the girl, and it was the girl who wanted to do it. You listen to interviews with Kenny Omega, and he had reserves about doing that match with the 9-year-old girl. But, over in Japan, the rules
he went out there and did it, though.
Yeah,
but he went out there and did it.
Yeah, well, because he was protecting, the girl was protected. She was a gymnast. She wanted to do it. Of course, the rules are different over there. You wouldn't be able to get away with it here. But
how do you explain wrestling a blow-up doll?
Look, how do you explain an entire series of kaiju wrestlers?
Well, that's because, again, the culture in Japan is very different. You don't see any of that shit going on in Lucha Libre.
Well, no, but they have it here in the U.S. It's usually part of the WrestleMania weekend when all the indies show up.
Again, there's those nothing, people, it's a very silent, small minority.
It's not, though. It is to you because you don't watch it. Some of that stuff gets over so much because, yes, we enjoy the wrestling. We enjoy watching the wrestling. Again, these aren't the main event matches.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Hold on. But it's just fun to let yourself go. I forgot the tag team. It was that kind of like that Aztec Egyptian tag team that had like the serpent move, would hypnotize their opponents, and then they'd start playing like Michael Jackson on the PA, and they would start dancing. It's goofy. It's goofy. It's fun. It's a fun time.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're admitting to every single person who's listening to this podcast right now that you, as a lifelong pro wrestling fan, you basically are endorsing and pretty much you're endorsing this flippy-doo fucking bullshit.
No, here's what's flippy-doo. The flippy-doo to me, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not a fan. Hold on. Let me finish. What I'm not crazy about is like when you got like Will Ospreay and Ricochet bouncing around the ring just doing acrobats the entire match. I'm not crazy about that.
But two things. One, you'll still watch it. Number two, let me ask you this. Okay, and number two, it's better than seeing somebody taking a fucking dick spot.
It's stupid. It's goofy. But at the same time, it's one of the most protected moves in the world. Look what happened to the DDT. Jake the Snake Roberts owned the DDT. You hit that once, and you're out. In fact, Alexa Bliss has taken that back, where she hits the DDT and it's over. Other people use it as an opening move.
The DDT is a move that you can do to someone in real life and kill them.
But you're
driving their fucking head onto the floor, man.
Listen, talk to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Nobody will die from taking a fucking dick spot.
Well, no one is supposed to die. See, this is the problem.
Nobody is going to...
And I'm going to be honest with you, this is where the problem is. It's the fact that, and look, it's 2017. We all know, no one thinks, except for kids, and it's fine to keep kayfabe for the kids, but kayfabe is no more, and that's fine. It was good. It was bound to happen. You can't. Nothing is quote unquote sacred anymore or kayfabed in today's day and age, which is fine. We all know the deal. We all know what's happening in the ring. We still watch it. I still watch every week. I am so excited to go to WrestleMania because for those what's going to feel like 9 hours at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, I suspend disbelief and I just allow myself to watch. The New Day came out of a giant box of cereal in Dallas, but it was still fun to watch. That's what it's all about.
You want to talk about, okay, so now we're gonna compare the New Day to wrestling a 9-year-old girl.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
it's nothing to do. It's not like he forced the 9-year-old into the ring.
Let me ask you let me ask you a question. Tell me if you agree with this, okay? The WWE, I know you're a massive diehard WWE fan.
I'm a fan, yes.
No. You're not a fan.
They're the number one. They are the number one. Everyone says it. They are the top. That's it.
No, they're only at the top for two reasons. They're at the top. Mainly number one is because of their reputation, all right, that they've garnished throughout the years, and rightfully so. And secondly, the only reason why they're on top is because there's no competition out there that can give them a run. If WCW was still alive right now, and it was still being powered by Turner and his money, trust me when I tell you, the WWE would not be where they are right now.
We don't
because
know
they were
that.
some sort of competition.
We don't know that.
We've known that for 80-something weeks back in like
yeah,
90?
And it worked. The NWO worked, and then guess what? It got too big for itself, and it stopped working.
Back then, you were still pro WWE. You didn't watch barely any WCW.
That's not true, actually. For a while, I was watching Nitro.
DDP, but if it wasn't for DDP, all right,
I loved
you
Paige.
didn't watch a lot of it, and I love Paige as well. You barely watched ECW. You weren't a very big fan.
I didn't get ECW.
Okay,
well, I did, but it was too late.
Okay,
I enjoyed ECW. Hold on. Don't put words in my mouth now.
Well, but still, no matter what the WWE does, you are still an obsessed fan of the WWE,
I'm
right?
gonna watch it, yeah, because they're the big dogs in the yard.
Now, would you also say one other thing? If that is true, by your rationality of what you just said, would you agree with me that the WWE is stealing a lot of ideas from the indies right now?
Like what?
They're borrowing a lot of ideas from the indies.
Like?
Storylines, moves, things like that.
I don't know. I mean, the only storyline I thought they stole recently was a couple years ago when Ring of Honor had Jay Lethal win both the ROH World Heavyweight Championship and the World Television title, and then Seth Rollins ended up merging the World Heavyweight title and the U.S. title and was defending both of them. That I thought was a little too close to home, but beyond that, I think they're fine. Look, if anything, the WWE's jumped leaps and bounds because of what they're doing with the women's division.
Okay, but they are taking a lot of ideas that come from the indies. They're bringing up a lot of indies guys.
Well, hold on.
Doing a lot of developmental with a lot of indie people.
Two totally different things between getting guys from the indies versus stealing stuff from the indies. Those are two completely different things.
No, I don't think so.
They are.
I think that them taking ideas, they've taken ideas. Final Battle in ROH.
Yeah.
Okay, there are stipulation matches. Well, what do you think Extreme Rules is?
If anything, that was WCW Uncensored.
No.
What are you talking about? Uncensored was a pay-per-view where every match had a stipulation, and that was way before Ring of Honor even existed.
Well, ECW, they took that from ECW as well. A little bit of that. And
they took a lot. The whole Attitude Era was from ECW.
All right,
everyone knows that.
I'm not saying all of it was from Uncensored, but a part of it. And the thing about it is, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, and we're going to stick to the subject here. If this is so great and it's so popular to see this wackadoo bullshit, all right, let me ask you this. Why is it that the WWE is not doing any of this bullshit in their ring?
Because with Kenny Omega or just in general?
No, just in general. These ideas are breaking out into dance routines, hypnotizing their fucking opponents.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Brodus Clay, first of all, Funkadactyls. There's your dancing in the ring. What's his face? Santino.
That's an introduction. That's like an entrance.
Yeah, okay. Santino
it's
Marella.
Not in the middle of the match.
Sometimes it has been. Santino Marella with the Cobra. Sometimes people would follow the Cobra and get a little hypnotized. They've done that goofiness as well.
What? No,
but you can get away with it on the indie. That's the whole. I got news for you. They're probably doing it at house shows that we don't know about, which is what house shows are for.
I doubt it.
Well, you can't doubt it. You don't know. So you can't say yes or no about it.
And neither do you.
You're right. That's why I'm just speculating.
Neither do you. So then how could you make a statement like that?
I said they probably are. Also means they probably aren't.
Let's just put it this way. This shit will never work in mainstream pro wrestling. And when it does, and if it ever comes out
is
that
mainstream.
They will do something, yeah, but you know what, though? New Japan has gone down the drain. They've gone down.
What are you talking about?
I don't like their product. I don't like what they're putting out.
That's you. But guess it's not about you. It's about the massive number of people. When New Japan came to the U.S. for the first time last July, sold out Long Beach 2 nights in a row. Sold out Long Beach from people from I think almost all 50 states, and they're coming back in March to Long Beach.
The gate?
I don't remember the number of the gate, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, people still came out. So they're not going to sell. Absolutely not. They're going to sell out the Staples Center. That's not what they're looking for. But the venue that they chose, and they're designed for a small venue, short of the Tokyo Dome. And even the Tokyo Dome, I don't think necessarily sells the entire place out. But it's not designed to. I could be wrong on that, though. So, but the popularity over here, when you go, I've seen people at where I am with Bullet Club shirts, with New Japan shirts. When I go to some of the wrestling shows.
No, but that's because that's the in thing.
It's not
that's
the
like
in.
The
Yeah,
cool
of course.
Thing to follow along.
That's what the in thing is. The in thing is what's happened. What is hot now?
All I could say about this entire topic, and I'm just gonna basically say my last words about it is it's a disgrace to the fucking professional wrestling profession. Look, I know that kayfabe is dead. I know it's not there anymore. There's no code way of doing things anymore, but this is an absolute disgrace to the sport where you got guys who are in wrestling school who bust their ass, taking bumps, thousands of bumps, hundreds of thousands of bumps in their career. They're busting their ass and they're getting real injuries, okay? And anybody who calls pro wrestling fake is a fucking idiot.
I agree with you there.
It's not fake, okay? And they didn't train. They trained to basically show, out their talents in a, several thousand seat capacity where people are supposed to have respect for, for professional wrestling itself. They didn't train themselves to go out and take a dickplex, all right? And it may sound like it's funny entertainment to you, but what it's single-handedly doing is that it's destroying, pretty much the profession. This is why, once again, nobody takes it seriously. This is why people in mainstream America don't look at it seriously. They think it's a joke, it's a comic thing, and you got people out there who are busting their asses, driving on the road 300-something days a year, barely seeing their families, barely having a personal life, and they're busting their ass. And while you got a bunch of indies guys who are ruining it for them by breaking it out in the middle of a match to dance routines, it's disgraceful.
But then why is the crowd?
I feel like it is to me.
Then why does the crowd get on their feet and go nuts when it happens?
Do you know why? We live in a stupid society today.
All right, now
okay?
you're being ignorant.
We live in a society
now
of
you're being
stupid
ignorant.
Yeah, call me fucking ignorant if you want, and then you know what? Then if I'm ignorant, then you're fucking ignorant too. Because let me ask you this: who's dumber here? Is it the people who present this product? All right, is it the company that presents this product to the fans and thinking to insult their intelligence to say that this is the new quote unquote new wave of professional wrestling?
It's not the new wave. It's three guys.
All right. No, it's not three guys. You have other people doing it in indie shows.
No, but I'm saying the majority of it. Joey Ryan.
But I'll take your words too. I'll take your words that in some local indie show with about 100 people, maybe 50 people that are sitting down in some fucking junior high school gym, all right, is probably looking at these three guys and saying, hey, if they can do something like that, well, then we can do something like that too. For all we know is that some fucking place in like Akron, Ohio, in some battalion, a hall, they're probably breaking out into a fucking sync montage. Okay, again,
it's not happening in the main event.
If it was secular, if it was a restricted secular thing, I wouldn't have a problem with it so much. But what's beginning to concern me rapidly is that it's spreading. It's spreading, and it's very negative for the industry. Now, is it the people who break out this product and give it to the audience to insult their intelligence? Or who's dumber? Is it the fans who actually eat this up and basically say, hey, well, this is just, this is awesome, and this is just the way that things are now, and we're not going to voice our opinion. It's just like it's a lot. It's very similar to music of 30, 40, 50 years ago compared to what it is now. There's no content. And that's become a huge thing. There's no content. There's no talent. If there is talent, you have to find it on the underground. There's very mainstream, very few people I can count with my hand who are considered real musicians. Just like in pro wrestling today. If it was not for and I will say I'm glad the WWE is not doing this flippy-do shit, all right, because it's disgraceful, and that's how I look at it, all right? I mean, guys, and sorry, go ahead. You look like you're about to say something here, so go ahead.
Well, first of all, you're condemning one person for 2 matches out of probably 1,000 that he's had, and if you ever even actually sat down and legitly watched Kenny Omega and Okada, Omega and Okada's 3 matches, some of the best stuff wrestling that you've ever seen.
I'm not doubting Omega's talent. But
that's what it is. And when he steps in the ring with Chris Jericho, who I'm shocked, Jericho, because I figured he was on a Legends contract. So to see him even wrestle outside of WWE, even during his off time, I'm actually that's cool. I like that. And to see Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom is another big, huge spot. And if nothing else, the indies are almost, they're kind of the testing of the waters. And in my opinion, go ahead.
Here's the deal. I'm not going to watch it, and I'm going to tell you flat out why. All right? Jericho may be big in America. He may be big in Canada, and all that with the WWE, with a big run. All right? But amongst their circles over there in New Japan, he may be known for his Japan days, but he was a very different Jericho. He's not going to win. They're going to put Omega over.
Probably.
And they're going to basically probably brand it as the torch being passed over. All right? And look, the Jericho is doing it for the publicity. A lot of people are saying that it may even be worked, but I'm sure he will show up and because he's a man of his word.
No,
all right?
It's signed.
And Omega is, I know, he's going to show up because he's a man of his word. Listen to what I'm saying to you. All right?
He's the one that made the challenge.
The match is going to happen, and I'm going to tell you now, he's not going to win.
Probably not, because he's the veteran.
It's as simple as that.
Okay.
You don't even have to watch it. He's not going to win.
So?
Because Omega is very much over, and in Japan, they care more about what's going on, especially in Asia. They care about following a leader. They care about what's happening in the now. They're kind of slowly reverting to not really worrying about so much what happened 20, 30 years ago. Like, they don't and, it's a shame, but that's just the way it goes. I'm telling you now, Jericho has no chance of beating him. It's going to be big.
He shouldn't win.
But Wrestle Kingdom,
Omega should go over, if anything. Yeah, because Jericho's coming in as the visitor, first of all. Jericho's the veteran, and normally the veterans, they do put over, the younger talent. Not that Omega is a rookie, but that's it. And it's not, the ends don't always justify the means. And a lot of wrestlers say this. I'm not WWE guys. Wrestlers, guys in the business say this. A lot of times it's not really about who wins or who loses. It's about the match itself. So it doesn't really matter who wins or loses all the time. It's a matter of how the match goes. And as long as the match is fantastic, it's going to be a barn burner. And the fact that, like New Japan is selling tickets to an English market is big time, because they recognize how much how much over it is over here in the U.S. The fact, look, we're only 2 people. I get it. We're not going to make a hill of beans of a difference. But I think that the matter of, one person, and you keep saying how people will find it, if they look at this, they're going to think it's stupid or ridiculous. I got news for you. Those are the same people who watch regular wrestling and think it's stupid and ridiculous. So it's not going to change their mentality. All it's about is having fun, having a good time. Yes, there's goofiness, but it's not the whole card. As long as the main event is a main event caliber, and this year it's going to be. I mean, Okada versus Tenryu. Not Tenryu. Crap, I forgot his name. But, and I'm all worked up now. But bottom line, as long as the match is fantastic, that's all that matters. And yes, I'm joking. I'm not looking into tickets for Tokyo. I would love to go to Wrestle Kingdom once in my life just to say I've been there, because I've seen the last few. They've been aired here in the U.S. But I've already taken the day off from work. I'm going to order njpwworld.com. I'll pay my 9.99 yen, and I'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch it live and then go back to bed. And I think it's gonna be a tremendous show. The only reason I wanted to mention this really is because I'm just happy to see Chris Jericho get back in the ring because he's my favorite wrestler, and to go up against probably the number one guy on the indies, and even that's kind of a term that really shouldn't be used for Omega, but a top guy, if not the guy right now, who's anyone not in the WWE. It's going to be a huge, huge impact. It's going to get numbers for the show. I think it's going to boost up some viewership, especially from NJPWWorld.com, because I know a lot of groups that I'm in on Facebook are all excited about this match, and that's what it's all about. It's all about having fun. It's all about having a good time, and trust me when I tell you, there will be no dancing in this match. There will be no 9-year-old girls in this match. There won't be no blow-up dolls or broomsticks or anything like that.
They're fucking better not.
But there's not. See, now you're being silly. Of course
Jericho,
not. Why would there?
Jericho is trained under the dungeon. He's trained by people who will not fucking do shit like that. I would love to see someone like
in the past.
Omega. Oh, really? And call it that. Call it what you want, but I have respect for the sport.
So do I, and so does everyone else.
No, how can you say you have respect for the sport if you endorse this fucking bullshit?
Because it's stupid. It's fun. It's funny. That's what it is. It's fun. It always has been funny. Doink the Clown? Really? Doink? You think that was a big-time deal? Oz? You think Oz was a respect to the business?
He was a legitimate fucking worker.
So are these guys. All right. So then you just proved your point proved my point as far as it's not necessarily the coding or the book. You don't judge the book by its cover.
If I'm going to tell you now, if this is the trend of what wrestling is going to eventually end up becoming, all right, if this is the trend of what wrestling is going to become, and if one day ever I see this in the WWE, or if I ever see this as a main event.
4 doinks at Survivor Series?
All right. Yeah, but that was entertainment for children.
Okay.
It was entertainment, but it's entertainment. But then remember, Doink originally came in as a heel.
But it's still a clown.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, so that doesn't matter. Okay.
So I guess maybe I'd rather see a fucking wrestler dressed up as a clown doing a gimmick like that as a bad guy, all right, than fucking having somebody, than being able to double super kick a 9-year-old kid for his birthday.
But it's PGW. They're known to do stuff like that. It's like talking about CZW.
Well, fuck them.
Look, it's not my cup of tea. I was at Game Changer Wrestling. Trust me, I was at a deathmatch tournament. It is not my cup of tea. A lot of people are into it. Kids were into it. I wasn't into it. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Let them do their thing. It's not my thing.
But again, this hardcore wrestling bullshit, and some of that, too, is extreme.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Very extreme.
I've seen some wacky stuff.
I'll tell you what, guys. We're not going to talk about this forever tonight, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. Since we can't come to a resolution here, how about we do this? Fans, if you have any input on this, and I'm sure you just heard it and either said, I'm a throwback and I don't know exactly what in hell am I talking about, you're stuck in the past, or maybe you're praising Larry and you're taking his side. It's kind of like Twix, folks. There's a right side and a left side. So I'll tell you what, we have an email. All right. Email us at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com, and you basically tell us exactly what you think.
All righty. So, yes, write in or mention it on the Facebook page, facebook.com/yinandyangpodcast. Let us know what you think about the upcoming. No, not even the match. Let us know what you think about this with Joey Ryan.
Our discussion.
The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and we want to hear from you. All right,
we want to hear your opinion on this entire crazy shit. So we can move on. You guys email us, let us know what you think, and then we can move on. So, folks, this weekend, in a world that we live in, we finally have justice prevail. I was watching UFC 217, right, at a Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm not going to name the location because I don't want to give these people any fucking, promotion whatsoever. But let's just put it this way. The best way to describe my experience to watch UFC 217 is I spent an entire year Saturday night there. All right. And what I mean by that is it's quite simple. So I go into this Buffalo Wild Wings, right? And I wanted to watch it because, I was supposed to have some family there, but they kind of they had things to do, and I understand. And they had preparation for a bunch of stuff on Sunday. So I went on my own, right? So I get there. Now, the person who was the hostess, or whoever put me on the waiting list of people coming in, pretty much said to me, well, we don't have any seats right now. You're going to have to wait 35 minutes. Okay, fine. I want to watch it regardless. I would have stood there and watched it for free at the entrance door because they had 3 TVs, which is not a problem. So she said, how many people? And I said, just me. Now, when you say just me and I'm pointing to myself, don't you think that means one? Well, lo and behold, I see all these people around me who are eventually, one by one, going in. She's taking tables for 1, tables for 3, tables for 2, tables for 5. And then all of a sudden I said, excuse me. I came in and I was ahead of 3 people who got in after me. And she says, well, what's your name? I said, Tony. And she looks at me and says, well, we don't have a table for 4. I said, when the fuck did I say 4? I said, just me means 1, not 4 people. All right? When in fucking existence if you work at a place like that or you work in any industry where you deal with people, especially in a restaurant, you don't know the difference between the number 1 and the number 4, you need not be working there. You shouldn't be fucking there in the first place. Oh, well, we apologize. I said, well, that's kind of like a really bad fuck up, no? That you don't understand the difference between a table for 1 and a table for 4? So all of a sudden, they sit me down, right? They give me this makeshift table that looks like 3rd graders put it together, all right? I'm sitting there because there's no seating left. Everybody's there. At this point now, everybody's there for the fight. I am fucking pissed. So I'm sitting there. And all of a sudden, it takes another 30 minutes to get a server.
Really?
Right? I already addressed to the manager twice. Can you get me a server? Can you at least get me a water with lemon? Apparently, this guy felt like he was too high and almighty to get me a water with lemon. So, goddamn it. Now I'm sitting there. I have no drink, no food. And I'm sitting there. And out of nowhere, what happens? A server comes 30 minutes later. Literally 30 minutes later. And I know this because of the 3rd fight that was already on. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I order the food and they don't bring me the food until the co-main event.
Really?
All right. Now I'm really annoyed at this point. I'm fucking livid. Wow. And then all of a sudden they bring me the food and I said, geez, what are you guys like making everything from scratch? I mean, did you kill the chickens back there? And because I ordered, naked tenders, sauce on the side, no seasoning, and I ordered a salad. Mm-hmm. So did you grow the vegetables back there as well? And the server kind of looked at me and said, well, that's kind of rude, sir. I said, you know what's rude? Rude is the fact that I'm sitting down here. It took me half an hour. They fucked up in the front. Half an hour for you to come here and address yourself as my server, and then it takes another 45 to 50 minutes to make tenders, naked tenders at that, all right, as well as a salad. I said, this is ridiculous. So now she says something, right, under her breath and goes, asshole. And I heard it very blatantly. Now, what am I supposed to do? It's a double-edged sword. Are you supposed to basically now cause a scene, get yourself thrown out? No. If you don't say anything, then pretty much you're taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the most diplomatic thing to do? I talked to the manager. Now, they can't fuck with my food because it's already out now, right?
Yeah.
So I ate it, and I went to the manager, and I said, and I explained A to the Z of what happened. And the guy tells me, well, sir, you have to understand it's a busy night. I said, it's a busy night, yeah. I said, should I fucking pop the corn too? I said, well, what the fuck? Should I go to the Coca-Cola factory too and make the sodas for everybody?
I've been there.
Should I go to Oh, I'm sure you have. And it's like, fuck. It's like, why in goddamn existence is it taking – this is the shittiest service I've ever had. I said, I live in Jersey, and I said, the service is not even that bad there. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to go back to the B-dubs in Jersey like you guys are the greatest thing that ever walked the planet, right? And I said, can you at least comp me for the food, for the bad service or whatever? He says, no. I said, okay, no problem. So you know what? I took a comment form, and I pretty much – I'm going to find, I found out corporate, and I'm going to contact corporate about this.
Okay.
This is totally ridiculous. I spent damn near, almost $20 on horrible service, and they basically, and to be called by an asshole by a server, really?
That's nuts.
It's like, so now it's just like, you know what? Fuck this place. Although the only good thing that ever came about it is simply that there were 3 title changes. And the women's fight was unbelievable. The idea that Joanna lost her title to this girl Rose is just unbelievable. That was a great fight. Nobody ever saw it coming. Cody Garbrandt loses his title, and he was livid because he felt that there was an early stoppage or whatnot. But then the third greatest thing. The main event comes, and everybody's pro GSP in there, and nobody likes that piece of shit Bisping. And finally, out of nowhere, GSP catches him. Now, by the way, Freddie Roach is his boxing coach here, okay? Mm-hmm. Same guy who trained Manny Pacquiao, blah, blah, blah. So, and Roach is legendary. He fucking catches Bisping with a left hook, knocks him to the ground, pounds the ever-loving shit out of him, and then he gives him his back, and all of a sudden GSP does what George St. Pierre does best. Gives him the rear naked choke, and I'm standing up, and my blood pressure must have skyrocketed through the roof. And I said, tap out, motherfucker. Tap the fuck out. Send him fucking back to hell. And lo and behold, what happens? GSP becomes the new middleweight champion.
Nice.
And finally, in this world, there is justice served. And you know something? I am so glad that jackass Bisping got a fucking lesson in humility. Because the reality of it is that we live in a world of trash talk. We live in a world where people talk shit. Nobody wants to give any respect to anybody else. I like Bisping the fighter because he is a good fighter, but I don't like Bisping as a person. The guy is a complete asshole. He's the reason why people should not do martial arts, all right, who have that kind of a mentality, that kind of an attitude. And I'm so glad that George St. Pierre at the end basically said, as a martial artist, it's about ethics. It's about principle. And that's exactly what people needed to understand. It's a fight, yes. And are there going to be tempers that flared? Absolutely. And it also brings me back to revert to one last point here, and that is that the UFC has now utterly become the most successful pro wrestling promotion in the history of the world because they use all the pro wrestling tricks to promote a fight, all right, and they're successful at it. They're even more successful than the pro wrestling world.
Okay.
And you know what? Go figure. It's just one of those things, and I am so glad that Bisping – and the only problem is that Bisping said that he was not going to retire, and I'm like, shit. Now – what is GSP to do? He's at 185. He was carrying a lot of muscle. He didn't look like he moved like the way that George St. Pierre does at 170 as a welterweight. And it got me to think that I have a little bit of a goal that I want to achieve, and I'm going to talk about it at the end of the podcast here. So, guys, if you haven't seen UFC 217, oh, my God, it was unbelievably awesome. You should definitely check it out or find a way to check it out. Man, I wish that we would have broadcasted a little something from B-Dubs there because that was awesome, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, we've done some good stuff at B-Dubs.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So here we go. Get your video game controllers on because we are going to talk martial arts and video games. Now, it's interesting.
Wait a minute. Is it Tuesday? Am I on the Retro Gamers?
I already said to Rippo that this should have been a cross-promotional thing because I think it would have been very relevant as a segment for you guys at the flagship show, right?
This
the
is
Retro
true.
Gamers.
This is true.
Exactly. So I have picked five games that and an honorable mention to pretty much cap off exactly what I think are the five greatest video games that are martial art themed. So, my friend, do you want to go first?
Yeah, because I figured. Well, don't I have the 5 good ones and you got the 5 bad ones?
Oh no, I have 5 good ones myself.
Oh,
as well.
did you have 5 bad ones? Oh,
I have 5 bad ones as well.
Okay. I think we'll go back and forth. I had 5 and then I really couldn't stop at 5, so I kind of got a bunch of them. And I tried to pick out ones that are a bit, when I say obscure, not mainstream. You got your Mortal Kombat, you got your Street Fighters, you got your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, all good games and all martial arts games. But let me tell you, Ann, do you remember some of these games? Do you remember Karate Champ?
Oh, you son of a bitch! I had that on my list.
You want to explain Karate Champ to the masses?
Okay. First of all, the most recognizable word in that entire game is "boy," right? Because it's like nobody understood a fucking thing that the referee was saying, right? Oh yeah, and he also said so basically it's a karate game. So in other words, it showcases the martial art of karate.
Straight up karate, yep.
Exactly. So you have a guy in a white gi, all right, and a guy in a red gi.
Yep.
And the referee is wearing blue. And these two guys do a competition. I don't know if it's considered sparring or competition. I think it's competition.
Probably. I mean, it's a one-on-one fighter.
Right. And it's a one-on-one, exactly. Yeah. And basically, the guys in the screen are the size of a key, of a house key, right? And there are 3 rounds. So it's best of 3. And the point of it is to hit your opponent in any way. There are kicks, punches, sweeps, jumping kicks, and the usual rhetoric, right?
Point.
Right.
Point.
He's like, point. Right? Oh, and then when it comes to if they can't make a decision out of the 3, I'm sorry, is it best of 2 or is it best of 3?
I think it was best of 3.
Best of 3? Because at one point, if they can't come to a decision, they'll say, kids. So, which is the word judge, right? And then they'll fucking flag whoever the winner is, right? And then the winner of that basically gets to, and this is the best part, they get to fight this charging fucking bull.
Yes.
Right? In the bonus round, right? There's this bull that comes at you, and you have to strike him with a straight punch. Now, do you know what that reference is?
Is that the extra hot paste picante that Tito Santana used to use?
What? No. It's not the Flying Forum.
The El Paso de Muerte?
Oh, God. So basically, here's what it's about, right? The charging bull, and you have to hit him with one strike, particularly I believe it's a punch, like a straight lunge punch, makes reference to the late, great founder of Kyoshin Karate, known as Mas Oyama. Because there was something that was said that Mas Oyama had killed a bull with his bare hands with one strike.
Really?
To the head, of a bull.
Wow.
So I don't think it's ever been recorded in any sense, but that's where it comes from. So I think that it's paying homage to Mas Oyama. Okay. I could be wrong about this. So if anybody out there knows more than I do, let me know. So that's on your list?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I'll let me do another one, then you'll be able to go from yours. Do you remember Kid Nicky?
No.
Kid Nicky was on the NES, and it was like a ninja game, if you will. But what I remember mostly about the game, not necessarily the gameplay itself, it was a side scroller. You had these they look like giant oversized ninja stars. It was, but I remember the first boss battle. The villain, the first boss, was this guy who had this giant. Do you remember Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
Remember near the end when the guy's like swelled up at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
This is what this villain looked like. You looked that guy. His head, his cheeks were giant because he would always blow wind at you to knock you back. But his head was ginormous and these big giant cheeks. And that's like the only thing I remember from Kid Nicky. Oh God, it was terrible.
Okay. All right.
What do you got on yours?
Well, that's your 5 though.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I thought we were going back and forth. All right. Well, okay.
I'll give you 2. All right. Well, you already took Karate Champ from me. Now, one of my absolute favorites, and I remember playing the arcade version as well as the NES version, is Kung Fu Master.
Oh, I was going to say Kung Fu. Yes.
Okay. So Kung
Mr.
Fu
X.
or Kung Fu Master, yep. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho.
Yes.
Right? Now, fucking Kung Fu Master, for those of you who don't know what the premise of it is that you are a Kung Fu Master. And your girl has been captured by the mysterious Mr. X and his gang. And you have to face it's a pagoda that you're in. Mm-hmm. And you're at the end of the length. And by the way, every time you advance forward, you'll see Chinese characters on the wall. And it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it may be.
Oh, is that
right?
the level?
Those are the numbers of this of which, like, how far you've gotten. It's just for decor, I guess.
Okay.
You know, for decor. So at the end of every pagoda level, you have to face a boss. Now, Thomas, who's the main character, only has 4 moves.
Thomas, I forgot his name.
Yeah, Thomas has to save Sylvia, right?
Oh my God, Silvio. So he was Italian.
Sylvia is the girl.
Oh! I thought he said his last name was Silvio.
No. Sylvia is your girl that you have to save. So Thomas only has a punch, a roundhouse kick, a jump kick, a sweep, and a kneeling punch, right? So I guess he's a Kung Fu Master based on 5 moves. Maybe I should go seek out his Sifu's or his sensei, and I'll become a Kung Fu Master too. Mm-hmm. But the game plays a homage. It pays homage to Bruce Lee's Game of Death, in which Bruce Lee had to go through every level of the pagoda. There was a boss. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was an epic classic, right? So, and then my other one, my number 4 was Karate Champ. So, all right, what's your 3?
All right, so Ninja Gaiden, the Ninja Gaiden series.
Okay, I'll talk about Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden in a little bit.
Oh, okay, all righty. Also, what?
You want to give them the premise of the game?
I mean, it's a straightforward, excuse me, straightforward side scroller. Probably one of the most difficult games ever on. It was in the arcade, but the 3 I know of, the trilogies on the Nintendo Entertainment System, it's got to be some of the hardest gameplay ever. And you're a ninja. You're going. I believe, if I understand correctly, someone I think may have killed your girl. Actually, I remember it was one of the first games that had cutscenes for the NES. And when I say violent cutscene, like, you don't really see it happening, but your girl gets killed in the cutscene. So, and Ryu is the main protagonist, and I mean, it is just some of the wild stuff. In fact, I'm going to do a quick cheap plug, if you will. If you head over to my YouTube page, youtube.com/C, the letter C, /more365, MOHR365, or on the Facebook, the Retro Gamers Facebook page, Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, there was a short-lived series called Trish Plays. A friend of mine, Trish, I introduced her. She never really played NES when she was younger, so I introduced her to some NES games, and the second game I had her play was Ninja Gaiden, and that was a terrible choice on my part, because it's a terrible game to introduce someone to, and it was a tough game to play through. So if you search Trish Plays, you'll be able to check that out. But it was just a rough game to play.
Okay, all right. Another one that is on my list is the the entire Mortal Kombat series. However, there was one particular one, I don't know if it's number 4 or number 5, where they gave each character 2 martial arts disciplines. Okay?
Okay.
So, like, one guy had Wing Chun, one guy had Tai Chi. And I'm saying, one guy had Wing Chun and Tai Chi. The other one had Karate and Taekwondo. One had Judo, and the other one had, like, Hung Gar. So there's, like, these different disciplines that everyone had. I believe it was Mortal Kombat 4 or 5. But that was my absolute favorite one. I think Mortal Kombat is one of those games in which it introduced an entire genre. It really revolutionized martial art gaming. It was very violent for its time, so it was very ahead of its time.
It revolutionized gaming, and it was pretty much the reason why we have a game's rating, why we have the ESRB today, why games are rated.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember during high school, I cut school one day because my friend told me, hey, there's this video game out called Mortal Kombat, and it's supposed to be awesome. So it's coming out, and it was on Flatbush Avenue and Avenue T in Brooklyn. And there was this little, it's now a Petco, right? But it used to be like a fun arcade and rides and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. Old World Brooklyn. And there was an entire huge section of video arcades. And when you walk in there, they had Mortal Kombat. And I remember this vividly because literally nobody was there that day because nobody knew that the arcade dropped on that day. Because, back then they don't have internet. You don't have, social media. Mm-hmm. So nobody really got the word unless you knew. And I don't know how my friend knew, but we played Mortal Kombat. I must have spent that day at least $10 on Mortal Kombat, right? And fucking my friend goes, hey, dude, check this out, man. It's called a fatality. So I see Sub-Zero fucking taking somebody's head. The screen fades to dark, and he rips the guy's head off his body and shows his spine and his head, and he's holding it, and it just says, fatality. Right? I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's man. Awesome. That I think that was Scorpion.
Oh, no, that was Sub-Zero.
Oh, that's
Scorpion
true.
Scorpion would take his mask out and blow the fire out.
Scorpion did it later on, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. Unbelievable, man. Totally unbelievable.
Now, do you want to talk about a bad fighting game? A bad martial arts game, which was a fighter. Do you remember Pit Fighter?
That was stupid as shit.
Oh, it was a terrible game. Good concept. It was the first game to use digitalized actors. Kind of like how Mortal Kombat was. Mortal Kombat was actors and actresses who were just scanned, and they were the players. So you were playing like with real people. But Pit Fighter, I believe, was the first one to do it, and they did it poorly. It was terrible.
It
absolutely
was bad.
Terrible. The only good thing about Pit Fighter was they did have a triple threat fight was one of the options.
Okay. Didn't realize that.
It was on. I remember I had it. I rented it for Super Nintendo. Terrible.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Another one that I have is Dead or Alive.
Classic. Absolute classic.
I like Dead or Alive because I believe it was it Dead or Alive 2 or 3 that had, again, multiple disciplines. And professional wrestling was considered a discipline.
I think 3 or even maybe 4.
Right, and basically my favorite character to use was Zack. Zack was a Muay Thai guy. And his Muay Thai is very, very true to life, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. Dead or Alive is basically a tournament fighting game that shows many, many different. Dead or Alive shows many, many different styles, and you're trying to fight in a tournament to become champion. Pretty much, simple as that.
It's pretty straightforward,
right? You have anything else on your top favorites?
You ever see Dead or Alive the movie?
Yes.
I have specifically Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game.
See, I'll explain that one to you in a little bit. All right, but okay.
Well, that one and an honorable mention, TMNT 4, Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo.
Right. Okay, that sounds good. That's cool.
Those are two really good ones.
All right,
because it was from the comic. You know, you had your four turtles, you had the four, you know, the sai, the bow, the nunchucks, and the katana. And you know, the first Turtles game on Nintendo, I was not a fan of at all. It was very rough game. But Turtles 2, the arcade game, which was a port of, well, the arcade game, was fantastic on Nintendo. And then Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo was phenomenal.
Okay. All right. Tekken series. The entire Tekken series.
Okay.
Was very, very good. I like Tekken simply because Tekken is one of those series where, again, they feature different styles. They also, the creators of it really gave a huge homage to Bruce Lee in Law. Was it Law? And then I think there was another character who was supposed to be Jackie Chan, actually.
Oh, okay.
Which was pretty awesome. I believe there's also one that's supposed to mimic Sammo Hung.
Oh, really?
Sammo Hung, yeah, which is from martial law and other various kung fu movies. Now, my top 5 list, and you're not going to like this, but but this is just how I feel about it, is, and by the way, guys, in case you're wondering why UFC games or any type of like, you know what was a fun game was Pride Fighting Championship for the PlayStation 2.
I remember that one,
that was a really good game.
Yep.
You know, that was more like an underground hit. The reason why UFC games and Pride Fighting Championship games didn't make the list is because that's more of a sport. Yes, it is martial arts, but it's more of a competitive sport. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather rank it as a sport game. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
A sporting game.
I hear you.
Now, you guys could disagree with me, or you could agree with me, so just let me know, you know. Again, emails at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. So, let's see. My top 5 worst games. Number 1 is I call these worst games because I don't consider them martial art games. They're just fighting games. Okay? You ready?
Yep.
Double Dragon.
Really? Okay.
I don't consider Double Dragon to be a martial art game. That's more of a street fighting game. It just so happens that they use a couple of punches and a couple of kicks. But that's really not a good description of a martial art game. Neither was Ninja Gaiden.
Okay.
I just don't. There's no fighting sequences amongst Ryu.
He's a ninja.
He's a ninja. I get it, but ninjas also practice the art of ninjutsu, which is a fighting discipline.
Mm-hmm.
A third one that's on my list is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As fun as the game is, and I know that it has the 4 weapons of Budo, they don't actually fight hand-to-hand or weapon-wise with any bosses. Do they use pure martial arts to fight?
I mean, they're jumping and kicking and using the weapons.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. I can kind of see that. Maybe I should be off the list.
I mean, you said the movie was considered a martial arts movie.
It is considered a martial arts movie, yeah. Let's see here. Street Fighter 2. All right. I'm sorry, but in a lot of ways, I don't see how the Street Fighter franchise is a martial art game because, I'm sorry, but, when you throw Hadoukens at somebody, and basically you're throwing these different things that don't exist, I don't know. I don't find there's much of a realism in that factor.
Only 2 of the characters are really, martial artists, Ken and Ryu.
But even Ken and Ryu throw Hadoukens and stuff like
of
that.
Course.
Well, Guile is a fighter.
He's a fighter, but then you got, Dalsim, Chun-Li probably.
Well, how about Zangief?
He's pretty much like a Russian pro wrestler.
Right. Well, that's a discipline. Pro
Yeah.
wrestling is a discipline. So yeah, okay, I'll take that. And the number one game, and the one game that I really, really find very offensive to be called a martial art game. You ready for this one?
What is it?
Dude, I shit you not, Rygar.
Rygar? How is that a martial arts game?
I don't know how, but somebody listed Rygar as a game that's martial art oriented. I'm like, are they nuts? Like, who was on drugs doing that one?
Yeah, that don't make sense.
All right, I don't know. But that's
I would
what
not.
I saw.
I don't
Figured
consider
wanna
that
bring it
martial
up.
arts.
Me neither. I don't consider it to be the martial arts either. So
Yeah.
I find it very odd.
All
you
right.
know?
Fair enough.
All right. So did you do your 5?
Yeah, I pretty much named more than 5. I mean, we shared some stuff as well, so.
Okay. All right. So guys, are you ready? It's that one time of the week where it's back. All right. Finally, Chewed Out.
Oh, man,
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay, now, before we even do Chewed Out, I got to give a double thumbs up. I'm sure you're going to give a thumbs up to also. A thumbs up of the week goes to Mr. Harry Smith Jr., also known as Davy Boy Smith Jr., and which is the British Bulldog's son. Now, you may be wondering why I'm giving him a thumbs up. Is because I believe he lives in Canada. And at the time, he was driving and he saw that there was a lady who was trying to commit suicide. And he prevented her from losing her life. And basically, he credits all his training in wrestling and in the arts to saving this person's life. And she was taken to a hospital and given therapy and taken care of. So, I really give Davey Boy Smith Jr. a lot of credit. I mean, guys and gals, when you really think about it, life is very precious. There's only one of you in this world, and I think we've mentioned this before, is that, it's not worth it, and it's, you just have to rise above any adversity out there. And, you are a gift to the world, whomever you are. And for Davey Boy Smith Jr. or Harry Smith Jr. to save this person's life, I really wish him the best, and I thank him for it. And, it kind of hits home to me because I had a distant cousin of mine who passed away back in 2014, and he actually jumped off a 15-story NYU dorm. And, there was reports that he was high on drugs or something happened to him or somebody spiked a drink of his or something. I don't know what it was, but, I lost a family member. And then also, bro, we lost somebody we knew. And she had committed suicide, and she was young. She was only 40 years old, and she was going through a lot. So I realized that a lot of people, we all go through our own battles, whatever it may be. But the main thing is, the key is you just gotta remain strong. Our friend Josh over at Victims and Villains does a theme where he pretty much talks a lot about suicide prevention. So, hey, bro, you got a number that if anybody needs help or anybody needs anybody to talk to?
Hey, this is Captain Nostalgia, host of the podcast Victims and Villains, a suicide prevention nerd news podcast. If you're listening to this right now and you or someone you know is struggling with suicide, please reach out. Suicide is currently the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. There are 121 suicides that occur each and every day successfully, with another 3,025 being attempted. Internationally speaking, there are over 2,000 suicides that take place each and every day. And by year's end, we'll have seen 800,000 suicides successfully. That's one death every 40 seconds. So if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out. You guys can either contact our show at victimsandvillains.net/contact, or you guys can also inbox us on Facebook at Victims and Villains. Or you guys can even call the Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or text anonymously to 741-741. There is always hope, and there is always a reason to hold on for a better tomorrow.
Thanks, bro.
No problem.
Again, you guys are a special gift to the world. And so if you or someone needs help, please get the help for sure. All right, man. So this is something I find absolutely mind-boggling. Now, I'm a Brooklyn, New York product. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I understand that New Yorkers have a very notorious way of driving, right? It's just it's part of the culture. It's the way that we live, and I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I've been a resident of the Garden State for quite some time now, and what I'm beginning to not quite seem to understand is that anytime I say to people drive safely, I mean that very, very seriously. And what I don't understand about how people drive in New Jersey, and please, if you guys can enlighten me, email us, because I don't seem to understand why in living hell is it that it's the only state that I've ever driven in, and I've driven in many states across the United States, is I don't understand why is it that when somebody's going at 75 to 80 miles an hour, okay, now when I drive and I commute to work in the morning, I drive about 75 miles an hour. Part of it is because I wake up a little late and I want to make up for some time, but I try to do it in a safe manner, right? Now, what I don't understand is that why is it that in the state of New Jersey, people who drive 70 to 80 miles an hour, there always has to be one fucking idiot or two fucking idiots who have to tailgate you because you're not going fast enough. And they don't want to maneuver around. And they don't want to fucking maneuver around to get around you to go quicker.
That is a pet peeve. That is my huge pet peeve.
Fuck's sake, folks, is 75 or 80 miles an hour not good enough? Is that not fast enough? What do you fucking want to go, 90, 95 to 100? And yet, the irony is that the majority of these people don't get caught by the state cops.
Absolutely not. No, it's ridiculous. It drives me nuts here, especially in New York. I live on Long Island. To see how these people drive like maniacs. Oh, drives me batty.
And I just don't get it. What is that not good enough? And instead of like flashing your high beams, maybe now I was driving in Maryland over the weekend, right? Now when people feel that you're too slow behind them, what do? They give you a little bit of time, a little bit of a window, and if they feel that you are not going up to their speed, they go around you. But no, here in this fucking nut job state, people tailgate you to no end. And then it's normal because when you move over, they fucking bolt at like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you wonder, folks, why did the gas prices in Jersey go up is because of morons who drive like this. Raise the gas prices because every time you drive past 60 miles an hour, you're losing gas. Now, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I drive at 75 when I commute, but when I come home, I move all the way over to the far right lane, and I drive at the speed limit, 65 miles an hour in most places I go to. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck do you need to drive this quick? And you know what's really ironic about it? And I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but this is a plain fact, is that a good amount of these people who tailgate you are women.
That is true. And I know women who complain about women drivers.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. And you wonder why insurance rates go up, right? And you wonder why gas prices go up. So for every fucking person out there in this illustrious, densest state in the United States who likes doing shit like this and drives and thinks that 75 to 80 miles an hour is not good enough, do you know what happens when people violate the safety and the traffic rules and make other people's lives inconvenient? Because it's not me that I'm worried about. It's the idiots around me that I'm worried about. You know what happens? Huh?
What happens?
You Jersey drivers who drive shit like this, you've just been chewed out.
Oh, man, you chewed out an entire state of drivers.
Well, I mean, just the people who do dumb shit like that.
Of course. No, that's what I meant.
And you know what, folks? The fucking chewed out segment will keep going every week until we stop the stupidity in this world. It's as simple as that.
Oh, man.
Right? Until then, until the stupidity stops, we will keep doing the segment called Shootout.
We'll be doing this forever.
You know, exactly. We got a list of people here, you know. So, quickly, guys, some fan mail. We want to make sure that we get some fan mail out there. I wanted to make sure that there were 3 questions here. I generally try to pick 3. If we have the time, we'll generally do more than 3. One of the questions is actually from Ricky. Ricky writes us all the way to from California, right?
Wow.
And Ricky writes, you know, what is a specific motto or quote that you live by? Wow, there is a lot of them. There's a lot of them. The majority of them are Bruce Lee's.
I got one.
Go ahead.
I live by the motto, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Well, that's nice. Actually, do you also live by do unto others and run?
DTA.
Don't trust anybody? Yeah. Well, that's nice. Larry's trying to set a positive example for the kids right here. So, all kidding aside, my one of the quotes that I live by in my life, and this is something that I need to preach as well as practice, is, and this is mine, the way that you do anything is the way that you will do everything. Okay? Now, I find this very intriguing because, and again, the way that you do anything is the way that you will do everything. So if you, let's say, work on something that's difficult or something complex, and then you just go, I'm just going to give up. Fuck this. I'm not going to do it anymore. What's going to more than likely happen is pretty much that's the way you'll approach virtually everything, right? That's difficult.
Agreed.
And, we all have challenges, so, I mean, we all, it's a challenge just to get up in the morning sometimes, just to go to work or go to school. It's a challenge to eat right, work out. It's a challenge to deal with the crazy shit you deal with in your 9-to-5s. It's a challenge, just having to deal with stupid fucking people that don't know how to drive correctly in a highway. There's a lot of challenges. So it's, if you could approach it the right way, the way that you do anything is the way that you will do everything.
Okay.
So thanks, Ricky. Ricky, I appreciate that. Angie writes to us, actually from Connecticut. And Angie says, guys, love the show. It's a really awesome show. My husband listens to it, and we're about to get married soon. So, hey, Angie and your future mister, excuse me, I guess it is your mister. Maybe some people, I'm beginning to find it as a trend nowadays. A lot of people will live together and act like a couple, be a couple, but they haven't officially gotten married. So
I've heard that so often.
Yeah.
At my place. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this is the case. So if you already consider him your husband and you're gonna get married soon, I just want to wish you guys an early congratulations. Big shout out to you. So your question at hand here is that she says she likes the show and she wants to know how do you approach getting a podcast started? Larry, this is all you.
Oh, this is gonna be my wheelhouse. Holy cow. Basically, I feel like this may have been a question once before we got, but it's the same thing.
That was the one last week was about what is your inspiration to get into.
True. Yeah. That's true. But the inspiration's kind of the same thing as what gets into it. How do you start a podcast? Simple. You just record something on any recording device. There are websites out there that will post the will store some, not all. A lot of the free sites will not have a lot of memory. We won't be able to store a lot of podcasts. So if you want to have a library of them, you're going to have to pay for a subscription. That would help out. And basically, you record yourself. Whatever topic you want to say, just start the mic and talk. You upload it to one of these sites. Me and Anthony Chu, we use Spreaker. In fact, the More of the Same uses Spreaker.com. Great website. I quite enjoy it. If you sign up, let them know that, the Retro Gamers, the Yin and Yang podcast, the better half, they sent you there. And that's really what it is. Record and talk. And if no one listens to you, don't let that stop you. Keep doing it. Keep talking. Keep recording.
There you go. There you go.
And then,
right,
and then
Angie,
you can get, and you dropped some numbers in the beginning of this episode. I just want to say the last couple of days, the Retro Gamers over on iHeartRadio has done over 130 hits almost both nights.
Wow. That's phenomenal. That's why it's called the flagship. All right. So, all right, Angie.
Good luck.
Good luck. Then thank you so much.
Truly.
Really appreciate it. And when you do officially tie the knot, let us know. Give us your names, and we'll give you a shout out here on the pod. So good luck with everything. Let us know and keep up the progress here. The third question comes from our good friend Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff. What's going on, Mr. Stein? Jeff is soon to be married, so I want to give him and his beautiful future bride a huge congratulations. That's coming soon. We just bought a home, so that's what he also mentions. Love the show. I also want to ask you guys, Anthony, why do you consider professional wrestling a discipline? I don't consider it a martial art, but I do consider it a discipline. And a lot of people take it as it's what they see on TV. But keep in mind that a lot of the holds come from old-time what they call shooters. Shooters were actually legitimate catch wrestling. Where what I mean by catch wrestling is that these were legitimate moves that can be used to hurt someone. It comes from many different styles of grappling arts. You can also consider it a very, very beginning version of mixed martial arts because it uses either amateur wrestling, either Greco-Roman or freestyle wrestling. It uses a little bit of judo. It uses a little bit. I mean, there are throws, there are locks, there are chokes. So there's so many different origins that created what we know as shoot wrestling, and a lot of the professional wrestlers are either MMA guys or they do know a very solid background of some type of grappling discipline that they apply. I mean, you can see it virtually everywhere. So, and by the way, dick spots are not a part of the art. Right? But that comes to a different story. We'll let you guys come to that summation. So that's great fan mail, man. I appreciate it. I was going to do a whole segment about reading food labels, but I think I'm going to save that for next week. I do apologize about that, guys. It's just that it's a very lengthy thing, and I don't think anybody really, really wants to hear us go babble on forever and ever and ever. So I want to finish off this week's podcast by actually asking if a certain someone has actually done his homework, and we're going to give you a progress report right now, folks. So without further ado, let me basically put together something right over here. Give me a kind moment, everybody. So, it pretty much, guys, we want to give you both, some type of, we want to give you guys our progress. So, just to do the proper intro. All right, folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Chu, and I am the advocate for the now life-changing Larry Mormon. So, Larry, how's your progress been this week, man?
It's going good. I mean, I had a busy weekend, unfortunately, but I was at the gym on Wednesday and Friday. So I hit the gym then. I've been doing good with the eating. Actually, I did meal prep yesterday. I got some this week. I'm going to be for lunch or for dinner, depending on if I bring it with me. I can do either or. Grilled chicken, quinoa, and either broccoli or spinach, depending on which one I grab.
Okay.
I did buy, some bananas. I bought eggs. A lot of more home style cooking to A, save money, and to B, just try and stay away from the fast food and everything like that.
Okay.
I do have to go. I'll be going back to the gym tomorrow. I got to play a little bit of catch up. So I'll probably go tomorrow and Wednesday to the gym. I haven't really learned anything yet as far as upper body. So I got to figure out what to do there. I may just wait till I meet with the personal trainer again so I don't mess anything up on my end. But I can go back. My legs are feeling good, so I'll probably go back, do some leg like squats and stuff like that. Planks I can do. So yeah, it's coming along. It's difficult. It's difficult, but it's coming along. I'm gonna stutter. I mean, I'm gonna trip every now. I'm not gonna fall, but I will trip every now and again. But as long as I can right myself up from those trips and continue heading on that path, I'll survive.
How sore were you? How sore were you? Like coming back from, that first initial workout.
I just had trouble getting up. I had trouble just getting out of bed. I felt it was almost like I was walking almost on my tippy toes because my calves were just burning, and my thighs actually it was more my thighs. So I felt it. I felt the pain.
Wow. Well, I mean, how long did it take for you to, not feel it?
It was probably a good 3 or 4 days because I'm not used to it.
Ah. Okay. Actually, I was told by my doctor, and I found this very surprising, that while I do have a clean bill of health, I was told that I gained 3.5 pounds, and it was not muscle.
Oh man!
So I am not happy about this. I am pretty much going to, my doctor basically said diet, exercise, and he's giving me the okay to work out. Listen to this. If I want, and if I get to this, to work out 6 days a week and twice a day.
Good
if
Lord.
I wanted to. And pretty much have one complete off day. And then, so in other words, he says I would suggest cardio in the morning and then weights at night. Right? And then he said that pretty much I have to eat right, eat clean. He said try to, and even my coach had said this, try not to eat any cheat meals for an entire month.
Okay.
And then for the second month, gradually bring it in once a month. And then on the third month, bring it in twice a month. But he wants to see me back in a few months. So for me, it's not an easy fix, but it's going to be one that I welcome the challenge to.
Okay.
He also told me to try to minimize my intake of any sweet fruits, sugar, salt, carbs, that type of thing, and try to eat more protein, more vegetable-based foods and all that. And I'm going to actually take it a step further and actually steam my food. So since I care about my health, I'm going to drop a challenge to you, the listeners. And the challenge is simply this. If you find me at any fast food restaurant, any place at all, not even Domino's anymore, if you find me anywhere, all right, ordering something, come up to me, just say Yin and Yang podcast, and you know what? I'll buy your dinner.
Oh, man.
Right? Because I shouldn't be in there. I shouldn't be eating this shit. And quite frankly, my health comes first over everything else. So that's the way I'm going to do it. And so in 3 months, I plan on losing weight. And he said that I'm one of those people that stores fat in their belly. So I got to get rid of some of that, man. I got to get a flatter stomach, and I don't want to be prone to bad shit happening to me later in life. So every day that you get up is a gift, and I want to maintain that gift.
Absolutely.
So I told you to do some homework, brother. Short-term, long-term goals. So 2 short-term goals and 1 long-term goal. So what do you got for me? Or what do you got for us, the listeners?
Well, when you say goals, I worked up a couple different things. When you say goals, are you talking about actual like goal weight or just stuff I want to accomplish? And by losing weight and getting in shape, I'll be able to accomplish those things.
Okay, give you an example. So when I first started working out seriously with my coach, I said that I wanted to lose 40 pounds by the time I'm 40. So I called it 40 by 40. That was my hashtag campaign. My other hashtag campaign was from Panda to Panther. So pretty much I wanted to drop the 40 pounds by my 40th birthday, which was about 8 months. So, I mean, do you have a short-term goal like that?
I would like to, when I go to WrestleMania in New Orleans, I'd like to probably be, like around 220.
Okay, so then you have December, January, February, March. So you got 4. So you have 4 months to drop how much?
26 pounds.
That can be done for sure. That can be done very healthily too, but it'll take time. And if you do everything naturally and let things organically flow, you should definitely be able to do. 26 pounds for sure. Actually, you know what? If you stick with it, I think that you can probably even exceed that goal.
Well, I'd like to get down. My long-term goal, and this is, I've told people this. It's a silly goal for other people, but to me, it's going to mean a lot. I have a collection of replica wrestling belts. I have a bunch of them, but I can never really wear any of them. They'll fit, but they're right on the last, kind of like the last snap there, and it kind of looks weird when the belt is still facing down towards the ground because of my belly. So my long-term goal is I want to be able to wear these belts like properly. And once I can do that, I'll know I've gotten to where I want to be.
Okay. For men, our stomach tells the tale, man.
And that's really my whole problem. You know me. You've seen me. My face is chubby. But I really, it's all my belly. It's not, my arms and my legs aren't really fat.
I see.
I got the man boobs as well, but I can deal with that.
Well, you can definitely change that, man. For a fact, you could definitely change it. So I don't see why on earth, you can't change. You could definitely do it. Keep us afloat, man. Let me ask you this. What is your ultimate goal? Like your ultimate goal that you want to reach in, let's say, a year or so?
If I can wear the belts, that means I'll be able to, go to the pool or go to the beach. Because I won't feel like... Because now when I go to the beach, if I fall asleep on the beach, I'm worried people are going to roll me back into the ocean. So that's my biggest concern.
What's your ideal weight?
I'd like to be 200. I feel like 200 is a man's weight.
Okay. I already talked to my coach about this. I said that by the end, and you can mark my words on this one, by the end of 2018, I will go down from what I am now is about 213, 214. I will go all the way down to 170, which is a welterweight in the UFC, and then I want to stack 10 pounds of muscle and walk around at 180.
Okay.
180, 185 the most, which is middleweight. That's where I want to be.
It can be done. It can be. Between the two of us, you got the better discipline. Trust me when I tell you. So if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be you.
Well, never ever discount yourself, man. Never discount yourself. So guys, always believe in yourself, which actually gives us a great segue to close off the program, which is never ever doubt yourself. Always believe in you. Always eat right, train, take care of yourselves, and stay disciplined. Stay blessed, stay balanced. And until next time, guys, I appreciate, and guys and gals out there, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. Thank you so much from the Yin and The Yang team, as well as the More of the Same network. Thank you for your love and your support. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of people here. Met a guy named Phil Zanders, who's a friend of my brother's this weekend. Met him over in Maryland. Great dude. We were talking about UFC, and I promised him I'd give him a huge shout out. So Phil Zanders, I hope you're listening. Big shout out to you, my friend. Hopefully I'll see you in the future. When next time I get down to Maryland to see my family. I also want to give a huge shout out to my niece, who's going through a lot in Rutgers University, trying to complete a med program. She's trying to become a dermatologist, so she's trying to get into that medical field. So she's just keep the faith, my girl. All right, take care of yourself, be well, and you'll do it. Just have faith and work hard. So other than that, guys, thank you, Larry. Anything you want to close with?
Remember, check out all the shows on the More of the Same network. Every Tuesday, the Retro Gamers, myself and Anthony Rippo. And you can follow us, Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast. And, of course, at Instagram, @the_Retro Gamers. Every other Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, when you listen to this podcast, when it drops, myself and Frank Messina, The Better Half, Life Married versus Life Single, we'll be talking there. And every Thursday, the Yin and the Yang podcast, myself and Anthony Chu. And all these shows, you can, anywhere you listen to podcasts, just do a search for the shows. They'll come up, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, YouTube. Check it all out. Subscribe to the respective Facebook pages. You can search for the shows from there. And other than that, I'm taking a couple of weeks off. I won't be back to an Islanders game until a couple weeks from now. And beyond that, I'll be at Ace Comic-Con in December. We'll talk more about that when we get there. And actually, me and you, we'll be invading the Barclays Center.
That's
January
right.
22nd.
Exactly. We're going to be there for the 25th anniversary edition of Monday Night Raw. And so we can't wait for that, man. That's going to be a great way to kick off the new year in 2018. Other than that, let me just say to you guys, check us out at Facebook. Just type in a search for the Yin and the Yang. You'll find our Facebook page there. Like us, follow us, contact us at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. Until next week, guys, thank you so much. Listen up, be well, take care of yourselves. Bless you. Peace.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. And nothing's gonna